Hi, today I'm just on the outskirts of a village called Methlick in Aberdeenshire, and the plan is to walk across a forest to get to the remains of Gight Castle and then maybe pitch my hammock in the castle or in the forest surrounding. I'm not quite sure yet, but first things first, we've got to get there, so off we go. This is Gight Castle. Well, actually, it's Gight Castle. That's how it's pronounced around here. And it was built in the 1570s by George Gordon. He was the second laird of Gight. The castle was used by the Gordon family and was passed down over the years from Gordon to Gordon. It was attacked by Covenanters. It was a place where Jacobites met. And over the years, it passed down through the male heirs. Now, eventually, due to many of the male heirs dying in battle, it was inherited by a woman. Catherine Gordon inherited Gight Castle in the early 1780s. And in 1785, she was married to John, aka Mad Jack Byron, a dashing Coldstream Guards officer. Now, little did she know that Jack was an out-and-out rogue, or as they would say around here, he was a right shite. He was a drinker, a womaniser, and a serious gambler. And within 2 years of being married, Jack had run up so much debt that the family were bankrupt. Now, Catherine Gordon had no choice but to sell Gight Castle, and the Byron Gordons fled to France to flee from their creditors. In 1787, Catherine Byron Gordon returned to Scotland to give birth to a son. She gave birth to George Byron Gordon, and he spent his young years growing up in Aberdeenshire. Now, at the age of 10, George Byron Gordon inherited his great uncle's title and became Lord Byron. Well, Lord Byron went on to be a world-renowned poet and political thinker, but he never got to live in his ancestral home of Gight Castle. So what are the castle I hear to say? Well, when Catherine Byron Gordon sold the castle for shits and giggles and just to confuse historians in the future, she sold it to somebody called, you guessed it, George Gordon. But this George Gordon was the third Earl of Aberdeen, and he bought it for his son, called George Gordon. Now, George Gordon moved his family into this castle, and him and his wife had 7 children. But at the very young age of 27, George Gordon died in a riding accident in this field here. And the family moved out of the castle. Now, they were the last people ever to live in this castle. Now, it's still owned by the Haddo estate, which is the same family. George Gordon was the Earl of Haddo, or Laird Haddo, and he was the last one to live in this castle. Now, a weird connection to that is that George Gordon Haddo, his eldest son, also George, went on to be Lord Aberdeen, Earl of Haddo, and also Prime Minister under Queen Victoria. Now, you've heard me mention him before. They built a tower in his memory and I camped on the top of it. And also in my last video, he built a marine villa at Bodham overlooking the sea, and that was close to where I was camping on the island. So much of the history around here is linked by families, and it's called the Gordon District for a reason. There are a lot of Gordons around here. I hope you enjoyed this bit of history. It was just a little snapshot about this castle. It has got lots and lots of history and tons of little stories. There are ghost stories and folklore about the place. I'm not really into ghost stories, but I'll link some in the description underneath if that's what floats your boat. But yeah, tons of stories about this place. I haven't really the time to tell you all of them, so it was just a quick snapshot. What I am going to do now is I'm going to go and see if I can find somewhere to put my hammock, because I had planned on slinging my hammock inside the castle. I thought that would be really cool, but there's a bit of a problem with it. The castle is absolutely hoaching with flies, black flies, and I don't think I could cope with that all night. So I'm going to go and see if there's somewhere nice in the forest to pitch, and I'll bring you back when I've done that. Well, I found a place to pitch just down here in the woods, so I'll spin the camera around and I'll walk you in. There we go. I think between these two trees, that one there and that one there. So I think what I'll do is I'll put the camera somewhere and see if I can put it on time lapse, and I'll get my hammock set up. So that's me all set up now. It's about 8:30, 9 o'clock, I'm not actually sure. And it was a good choice to go for the forest. It's really nice and peaceful in here. Wood pigeons are cooing away and it's just chilled out. So I'm really pleased I picked this spot. I'm not far from the path, but I don't think I'm going to get anybody coming past, and I'm actually down in a dip. So I should be alright. I don't think anybody's going to see me here. So it should be cool. I'll spin you around and I'll show you what I've got. I'm rocking a 3x3 tarp in a diamond shape. It's a fairly lightweight camo tarp, and I'm not really expecting any rain tonight, although we do get kind of thunderstorms at night when it's been hot like it has been today. It's been hot for here anyway, kind of 26, 27, which is hot. That's a lot of flies around here. So I've got the tarp up just in case. I've got the Onewind zipper 12-foot hammock, which has got an integral bug net, and for me that's a must if you're camping in Scotland, because if it's not midges it's black fly, and yeah, who wants to wake up with a mouthful of those things. And I've put on an underquilt. Now I probably don't need an underquilt tonight. I think it's only going to drop down to about 10 degrees, but I tend to put it on anyway, and you know, if I'm getting too hot I'll throw my top quilt off, so you know, it's not really a problem. And for a quilt on the top, I've only got a one season thing. It's a one tigress feather quilt, and I mean it's a tiny, it stuffs down to nothing, so it's a good little setup. And a couple of blow up pillows. I tend to put one behind my head and one behind my knees, because although you can lie diagonal in this thing, I tend to not. I tend to end up lying like the banana and my knees get sore. So if I put a blow up pillow behind my knees, it makes for a comfy night. So that's what I found I do. Oh man, the flies are getting bad again. Whew. But yeah, you very quickly realise when you're setting the hammock up, if you haven't done it in a while, that you've forgotten how to do it, because yeah, this is not the best of pitches. The trees are actually a tad too close together, and I had to drop the strap down on this tree. I'm sure my American viewers are screaming that I've done it wrong, and I probably have, but it's got a tensioned, I don't know what you call that, tensioned ridge line. It's a Dyneema ridge line, which takes a lot of the load, which sets the sag, and I don't tend to have a lot of sag in my hammock. I find a flatter one works for me, but I'm still learning. I've had this hammock about a year, and I've been doing hammocking for about, I don't know, a year and a half, so I'm an absolute noob when it comes to hammocks, but I do like it. It gives you another option, and yeah, it's good fun. I wouldn't do it every time, and actually a lot of the places I go, I don't have the choice of trees to do it, but today I think it was the right choice. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to set the cooker up, and I'm going to get some grub on. I've bought the alcohol burner with me tonight to just keep it nice and quiet, so I shall just get some water on and wait half an hour for the thing to boil, because I think when you've been using a gas stove, it feels an eternity when you're using an alcohol one. But I shall be patient and get a brew on, well, get some noodles on. So I'll bring you back when I've got the stove set up. Okay, so that's the stove all set up. I'll shine you down, that's it. So yeah, I'm using the Trangia tonight. It's nice and quiet and stealthy, and my little kettle and my titanium windshield. And tonight's noodle of choice is Mama kimchi noodles. So that's a Korean kimchi noodle made in Thailand. So we'll give them a try. So Thailand noodles, Mama, they're normally pretty good. And protein of choice is Spam. I'm having to keep the camera angled as it is, because the sun is going down behind the trees there. It's about 9 o'clock and the sun's starting to go down now. So I'm getting, what they call that, the golden hour. It's not quite the golden hour yet, but I'm getting the sun kind of in the camera lens, so I'm holding it at a funny angle. So what I'll do is I'll stick the kettle on, and when it's all boiled and the noodles are made, I'll bring you back and show you what I'm eating tonight. Well, that's my noodles ready. There we go. And tonight's tipple is Pepsi Max with Duppy Share Caribbean rum. So rum and coke tonight. And just a one, because I've got an early start in the morning. I've got to be in Aberdeen at stupid o'clock, so I'm going to be getting up with the light, I think, and striking camp and getting out of here nice and early. But first things first, I'm going to get my food down my neck, have a relaxing drink, and I'll come back to you when I'm finished. I'll let you know what I think of Korean noodles made in Thailand by Mama. Okay, so let's eat them. Okay, so that's the noodles done, and what do I think of those Mama kimchi flavour noodles? Well, I'd say that they don't taste of kimchi at all, in my opinion. Now, obviously, I'm not Korean, but I've eaten quite a lot of kimchi, and I couldn't discern any kimchi flavour in these at all. They were quite spicy, but not in a Korean league, should we say. You know, they were quite tame, but there was spice and there was herbs in them, and there was a flavour. And surprisingly, to me, they tasted very Thai, which is not a bad thing, but they didn't taste Korean at all. The noodles were big, fat noodles, really good quality noodles, actually. So not a terrible pack of noodles, but if you're buying them to have a Korean delight, then they're not. If you want Korean noodles, I suggest that you buy Korean noodles and say Shin Ramen or one of the many other Korean noodles that are actually made in Korea. So not really kimchi noodles at all, but yeah, it wasn't terrible. It wasn't kind of, I ate it all, and it wasn't a waste of time making them. Would I buy them again? Probably not. Not when I've got access to better ones. But anyway, we tried them. So I'm going to have a very sophisticated pudding, mint chocolate club bars, and I'm going to finish off my rum and coke. Sun's dropping. I'm actually not sure what time it is. I think it's about 10:15. And I think what I'll do is I'll switch the camera on when I'm in the hammock, when I'm chilling out listening to my book. So I'll see you when I'm in my hammock. Well, that's me in my hammock, and I'd forgotten how comfy this is. I mean, this is properly comfy. Well, I have got, I don't know, I suppose it's about half an hour, 40 minutes worth of light. It's really hard to tell this time of year, but I think I'm just going to sit and listen to my book until I lose the light. And then I think I'm going to get some quality kit tonight, because I've got to get up with the light actually. I've got to get up bright and early tomorrow. I've got to head into town, so I will say good night, and I will see you all in the morning. So, see you all in the morning, everyone. Well, good morning. It's about 5:10, and the forest is fully awake. The birds are singing their songs, and the pigeons are cooing. It all sounds like a great day out there. So I'm going to swing my legs out, go for a pee, get some brew on, and get camp tidied up. And I think when I'm packed up, I'll get back to you. Well, that's me all packed up. So, as ever, leave no trace. We can see that. I don't know if you can make that out, but yeah, everything's packed up and clean. I'll pick litter on the way out, although I didn't see a great deal on the way in. But if I see anything, I'll pick it up. And I think what I'll do, as ever, I'll do a camp wash up when I get home. So I'll see you there. Well, that's me back home, and what a great camp that was. A truly brilliant night's sleep in that hammock. Really comfortable thing. Now, it was great to have a look around the castle, and I must admit, in hindsight, it probably was the right choice not to camp in there. Not just because of the flies, but there's a lot of recent rockfall in there, and yeah, the castle is falling down, and it's quite a dangerous place. So if you do go in there, be careful, because there's a lot of rockfall. Now, the place I did pick was really peaceful. It was tucked away in the woods, not far from the path, but hidden away. And it was really nice just lying there, listening to the birds and the pigeons and, you know, critters coming past. There was definitely deer moving around in the night. So really nice camp. Now, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, it would be great if you could leave me a thumbs up and a comment. And if you're not already subscribed, clicking the subscribe button really helps the channel get seen by the algorithm and get me out there in YouTube land. Well, with all that being said, until the next one, I'll say ta-ra. Ta-ra.